Hello friends, Shiran here. I'm back with a video about Yang, the realm of Yang. With the influx of newbies, I've noticed a lot of confusion around this mechanic. And I figured I'd make a video explaining everything I know about it. So first, let's answer the question, what is the realm of Yang? The realm of Yang is an instance where you're able to fight someone without third parties interrupting you. Twice per game, the gate of Yang opens, and if you go in time and win, you'll be handsomely rewarded. Loss results in a Yang Depletion debuff. We'll talk about that later, but you can check the timestamp if you'd like. Here are the timings of various events in-game that happen close together. I won't read them to you. On the right, you'll see what the spawning of a Yang gate looks like on the map. Upon entering, you'll see a countdown for 45 seconds. If nobody else enters, the person or people inside automatically win. If another team enters, the countdown drops down to 15 seconds automatically. Your team can get split if not everyone makes it in before the gate closes. The two Realm of Yang rounds have different rewards. Solos rewards are different from duos and trios rewards. Anyway, these things here are what are important in the Yang boxes. Vermillion Bird, aka redbuff, gives you 1 revive that lasts for 3 minutes. You do not lose your stuff if you die. Mystic Might, or blue buff, gives you a 100-meter radar and wall hacks for 3 minutes. Similar to hitting a scout bell, I suppose. Draco Storm, or green buff, gives you lightning spam and small heals over time for 2 minutes. The person who clicked it also recovers armor over time. You can also get a rebirth charm if one of your party members is down. It's important to note that green buff and revive charms are only available in 2s and 3s, and red buff is only available in the first Yang round. Using a buff replenishes your rage to full, even if you use your ult after the round is over. Additionally, if you use a buff, any and all living party members, regardless of their location, will get that buff. Anyway, here I was just showing you the contents of the box in the first round. Next, we're going to move over to duos in the first round. See, here you can actually get the Draco Storm, unlike in solos. Also, keep in mind that after a round is over, you will have a maximum of 15 seconds to pick all your stuff. Anyway, this is Trio's first round. Again, Draco Storm is available, unlike solos, but I guess you get that already, right? Moving on, here's an example of how red buff works. You die, be it to an enemy or environment. You turn into a ghost that can revive at a soul altar of your choice. You don't lose your equipment or your money on death, but you leave behind a Soulbloom. Sometimes, if a soul altar is nearby, it's more strategic to die and come back. Okay, so this is how the blue buff works. About every 10 seconds, it reveals enemy locations within 100 meters and lets you see their outlines through walls. Each pulse is audible to nearby enemies, so remember that when you are out scouting and looking around. So lastly, here is what the green buff does. You get small heals over time, and every 3 seconds or so, lightning raids down on the enemy, dealing minor damage and interrupting them.
It's broken as the Navy. Aim for the queen, better not miss.
It's very chaotic and excellent for toothpicking, but it will free any enemies that are bound by something like Valda's bubbles or a V1 water spout.
Told you, this is my world.
If your teammate dies in Yang, but you defeat the entirety of the other team, your teammate gets automatically revived and put at full health. Here are also the contents of a second realm of Yang round. As you can see, there is no red buff here. At this point, you might be wondering, like, hey Shiran, what happens if neither team manages to kill the other? The answer is, they both lose. It turns into a tie of sorts. Both parties get what's called a Yang Depletion debuff, and are consequently turned into spirits. Yang Depletion lasts for 4.5 minutes. I'll elaborate a little more on it later, but to cleanse it, you need to consume a Soulbloom before the timer runs out. Make sure you're considerate to your teammates and do not hog Soulblooms if you have already cleansed your Yang Depletion. This can and will cost you. It's a good idea to take note of Soulbloom locations as you wander around the map, whether they're from someone you killed or otherwise. Remember, you cannot use your own team's Soulblooms. Again, do not be greedy with these. Try and make sure everyone in your team gets one during the fight. Otherwise, when the timer runs out, debuffed people will die, even if they're at full health and armor. Here's an example where I do not eat a Soulbloom. We revive at a lotus, my teammate grabs a bloom, and I let myself die to a fire cage's flames. My teammate then has to go and purchase a revive charm for 9,000 Tay to pick me back up. It's a waste of money. And afterwards I have to go and get all of my loot back. Mind you, in a real match, that loot might have already been looted or taken by somebody else. Here's the opposite scenario. My teammate fails to get a bloom before dying after getting the Yang Depletion debuff. And I need to go grab a revive charm to get them back. I ended up getting it from a Morus box because it was conveniently nearby and I had no money, but hey, it's risky. Sometimes you won't find a bloom or anyone to fight, and at that point you might just be out of luck. But if at least one person manages to cleanse their Yang debuff, things might just be salvageable. If you are struggling to find a Soulbloom or a fight, and if you can afford it or there's a Morus box you can get to, you can always use environment to kill you. You can rotate this throughout your team and may have one person do it, then another person, but it's very risky, especially if another team finds you doing that. Anyway, that is all from me for today. I hope that this explanation has helped whoever needed it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.